Hi, this is Jason Most with InRoads Credit Union. Thank you for joining us tonight for DIY with InRoads. We have our third segment in our DIY series with Shannon Quimby, DIY expert. Tonight, she's going to give you a little insight into her DIY toolbox. So again, these DIY series have been happening weekly, and you can go check out Shannon's other DIY segments on inroadscu.org/DIY. All the instructions and past videos are loaded up on that landing page for you to reference, and you can use tonight's segment to then use your toolbox on those previous segments. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Shannon Quimby, DIY expert. Shannon, take it away.
DIY expert, yes, that is true, I am. But how do you become a DIY expert? Well, with me, it's basically I've been starting from day one. Always trying to figure out how to repair something, how to fix something. If it's broken, instead of throwing it away, what could we do, how to change it up? And because of that way of thinking, I've actually quite made a very good career out of it. And one of the things a big thing that I do is I'm a photo stylist for Better Homes and Gardens, which have you heard of that one before? Better Homes and Gardens? Yeah. How about HGTV? Oh, okay, maybe, yeah. Country Living, Country Home, a lot of the magazines, the big guns. So, but what do? I'm the stylist. So when you grab a magazine or even go on on their sites, when you open up the magazine and you see a beautiful dining room or a kitchen or bedroom or gardens, I'm the one that styles that shot for the photographer. So I've been doing that for over 25 years. And every single shot that we've done, every location is different. And so I have to think on the fly really fast. I have to do it myself, DIY it every single time. And so I want to share with you tonight all of my styling and my repair and my fix-it tricks that I do as a stylist, which saves a lot of money. So the money stays in the bank, it stays into my savings account. It's going to save you a ton of time, and it's really easy to do. All right, so we're going to get started.
So yeah. Shannon, I forgot to mention when I was introducing you in the beginning that for our viewers, if anyone has any questions or comments, to make those down below, and we'll be answering as we go along.
Oh yeah, definitely. Chime in. I would love to hear your feedback, definitely. Because there's so much we're going to go over tonight. Hopefully you do have some questions, okay? So we're gonna get started. So I literally, when I am on a shoot, on a photo stylist, I have a tool belt. And I stick all my cleaning supplies and my styling supplies in the tool belt. So one of them, which you gotta have, is just a standard 1-inch paintbrush. Now this is just a simple throwaway paintbrush. It just costs a couple bucks. I don't use it for painting. What I do is I use this for a variety for dusting and or applying different types of varnishes and oils and polishes. So the one thing that I do is when I am styling, a lot of this is very close, right, on camera, and everything has to be very, very clean. So a simple thing that you can do with a paintbrush is a paintbrush without paint on it, okay, this is really easy to clean the keys into your computer. This is very important right now, right? It helps keep the dust down, also germs from spreading. So it's a very simple thing that you can do to clean. You can also take this same paintbrush and spray some polish on it, okay? Some dust polish, and do the exact same thing and go around and so forth on the computer. This is really good. You can do this in the car, around all the crevices, around the, what's that called where you put your glass in? The cup holder, because all that grimy stuff gets in that. So it's really good to do that into the windowsills and basically all those little tight corners that you can do, that you can get inside. So definitely a 1-inch paintbrush. Have it in your DIY styling kit or your DIY tool kit. Another one is, don't ever throw your toothbrushes away after you're done with them. I am constantly cleaning, and I use these for painting techniques, get into the crevices. I have a chair right here, this on the legs here, and with the with the toothbrush, is I will get in, a lot of you get into that dust, right? All that stuff gets inside. When I'm on a location on a shoot in somebody's home, and most times they've cleaned the house like crazy, but when we get in these really tight shots, you got all this gunk in there. I don't know about you, but I got animals, and so the hair lands everywhere, everywhere. So you can take a toothbrush and get inside into the crevices. Now this is a really good example. Notice that the toothbrush doesn't get tight into this. That's where that 1-inch brush comes in, okay? Goes in right like this. Gets right in there. And you can get all that dust and grime out like this. Now, how many of you got kids? Jason's like, I do. Yeah, same here. So our kids are hard on furniture, right? And also our animals. A lot of times there's scratches. This is something that's been around a long time, but I tell you, it's my go-to. Old English. Yeah, it's a polish. And you can get this at any hardware store. It costs about $5 or $6. And it comes in different, I would say, shades. So this one is for dark woods. There is, yeah, scratch cover for dark. Oh, here's one. This one's for light, for the light woods. And then this one literally does say scratch cover for dark woods. The reason I love the Old English is because it is a polish, but I have found that it covers like a stain. And so it's something that you can use right away. And so if there's a lot of times if there's a scratch in here, I'll take that same, another paintbrush, like so, and I'll put the Old English polish right in there, and that's where I'll get in, and I'll get inside like this, and go right inside like that. And so any of those scratches that you have, I'm literally painting with a paintbrush onto the chair. So this is really good with table legs. When your table legs always get scratched up, chair legs, and then you just wipe off the excess like that. Another one is then you can take another paintbrush. I do the excess like this and go in here, okay? So a lot of times these legs, oh, I'll show you. So if you get a scratch, you're like, oh my God, she scratched her chair. Yeah, don't worry about it, okay? So it's scratch, okay? Like that. Same thing, I just take the Old English, pour it right on the paintbrush, and I paint it in. I've noticed by using a paintbrush, it gets into the scratches. If you use just a rag, I've noticed with a rag, it stays more like on the surface. So then you just go like this and you just take it off and it's gone and the scratch is gone. Simple, easy peasy, and it's also very affordable, okay? So, and that's key. Everything that I'm gonna show you right now is extremely affordable, and also it comes in small quantities. So it's not taking up a lot of space in the garage or on the workbench and so forth. So that's really good to have, you guys. You want to have the 1-inch paintbrush, toothbrushes always, once again to get in the crevices. Use these to for varnish or polish. And then I do have all different types of colors of the polish of Old English. I get this, I've always find this size at Ace Hardware, by the way, up in my neighborhood. I love them. That seems to always have the smaller size because I don't need a big boy, okay? I don't need to go to the big box thing and have this big, huge thing of Old English that's gonna be sitting on the shelves for 10, 20 years, okay? So there's that. Now, still going on to the scratches. once again, I style, right? I'm on location, and some things get damaged and they also get scratched. Another one I do is I have Sharpies, okay, the Sharpie pens, and I have them in a whole bunch of different colors, and I have them in all different sizes. See this? So you got the real fine, and you got Papa Bear, and you got Mama Bear, and you got Baby Bear. So you got the real thick one, and then you got the medium, and you got the fine. Here's an example. Oh, I just happened to have a picture of my son. Just happened to be here. A few years ago, though, when he was probably about that tall. Now he's this tall, out of frame. But notice the frame, this old frame here, this black one got scratched right in there. So I literally will take a Sharpie pen and I will go in and just cover that up with the Sharpie, and it disappears. Okay? Those scratches right there. I've noticed that with the Sharpie, it stays longer and it goes in because it is a permanent ink. Then if you wanted to, you can take that rag, and just wipe it off. But then those scratches, probably was hard for you to see today, but the scratches on that disappear. So this is really good for frames, real small little things that you have little minute scratches on. And you can use a whole bunch of different Sharpie pens to help out with that. You could also, seriously, depending on the furniture, this chair has different types of grains in it. You could Sharpie pen it too. So you could take that same pen and Sharpie in it like this and then wipe it off. So that's one of the few times where it's okay to take Sharpies to furniture, is to basically cover it up, okay? Simple, easy peasy, and once again, cost effective, all right? We're just moving right along here, Jason, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We're just moving. Okay, here's another one. So, how many of you know the difference between Laugh and Plaster on your walls versus Sheetrock? Some of you, oh, Jason does. Jason raised his hand like, yeah, I know. All right, here's the hint. If you live in an older home and you have a hammer, okay, pretend this is a hammer, and you want to hang something on the wall, and you take your nail and it goes like this, boing, boing, like that on the wall, and all of a sudden you can kind of hear behind the wall the crumbling that's going down the wall, and you're like, oh my God, this nail, boing, like that. That's called Laugh and Plaster. Why? There's two parts. Laugh is a very flexible, thin pieces of wood that you put the plaster on in older homes, okay? And so it moves with the plaster. So I've grown up with old homes, and you take that nail and it goes boing, and then that little hole becomes a huge hole because you put a big hole plaster in, okay? Sheetrock doesn't. Sheetrock does not. So you can hammer in a nice little hole and it stays there. But what if you just want to hang, a picture frame that I would say that's 10 pounds or less, which is basically most of our pictures, unless you've got like a big heavy mirror. One of the secrets that I do, because a lot of times I am at other people's homes and I don't want to damage if they allow me to put something on the wall, and I do this at my house, is I use T-pins. Now you're going, what's a T-pin? I'm going to hold it up here in white so you can see it, because this you probably can't. A T-pin is basically a pin that looks like the letter T. That's called a T-pin, okay? You can get this at any craft store. I got it at Joann's, any sewing place, but mostly I would probably go to the big craft stores to find them, okay? The hardware stores don't carry them. The beauty about the T-pin versus just a stick pin is the T-pin is much more durable, okay? It's not gonna bend. You know how you can take a stick pin and just bend it, but a T-pin you can't. I use this all the time because I like the T, because if you have a picture that has a wire on the back, I wonder, oh yeah, here's one. Here's got a wire on the back. With the T, it hooks, so you can still hang it, which is nice. The beauty about this is that it leaves just a microscopic little hole in the wall. So instead of getting a large nail or even a small nail in circumference, a T-pin is even better. So that's going to cause a lot less damage. And if you have really bad eyes like me, when you take the T-pin out, you can't see the hole anyway. It disappears. But this is a really good styling secret that most photo stylists carry. We carry these T-pins around all the time to help with less damage in the house instead of those nails. And they're very long too. So it's good support for the photos. But I wouldn't use these on big, like heavy frames, like big heavy mirrors and so forth. I would say probably 10 to 15 pounds, nothing probably over that with the T-pins. Okay? All right. Look at all this. By the way, check it out. So in the DIY toolkit so far, and I'll even throw all three in, this is it right here. See how tiny that is and compact? Very little money, and so you don't have this big, huge DIY toolkit. It's very tiny, it's very compressed, which is one thing I also like, because when I'm traveling, and which I do on a lot of shoots, when I do photo style, it's important to be very compactful and but yet cover a lot of surfaces, whether it's on the ground or on the walls or on furniture, so forth. Okay, I'm getting all messy here. I'll just set this here. All right, here we go. Oh, this is something you definitely need to have. It's a mallet. Now, what I love about a mallet is that it's got two different surfaces. It's got the rubber edge and it's got the hard surface on the fiberglass, okay? So you can use this side both as a hammer. The reason I use this, and this is a biggie, and I do it all the time. When you have a can of paint, okay? Let me see, there's an opener. I'm gonna open it up. When you have a can of paint, the worst thing you can do if you want this to dry out fast is that when you put it on, is you take a hammer, and even this side, and you hammer it in. Why? Because you're denting the lid. So when you dent the lid, that means air is going to be released and your paint's going to dry up really fast. Right? I just saved you a ton of money right there by letting your paint last a lot longer. That's why you want to take a rubber mallet and you go around the edge. Here's a little DIY tip. When you put the lid back on, put a rag over it and then use the rubber side of the mallet and tap it. Why do we do the rag? Why do you think? Yes, because sometimes that paint splatters and it goes all over the place. It's going to catch it on the rag. Another tip that I'm going to show you, this is a DIY tip, and I might have shown this in one of the other two DIY classes that we did, which Jason had mentioned. If you're tuning in later, you definitely got to check it out. I did a whole bunch of DIYs, indoor DIYs with all salvage materials that you have lying around the house, and outdoor too. So you got to check it out. So this is called, I think it's called an owl, A-W-L, okay? I call it an ice pick. It's not an ice pick, but that's what it's called. Now, if you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can take a nail. But you know how that paint gets on the insides when you pour it and it all gets in that crevices? But when you open a brand new can of paint, I want you to take the owl, or you can take just a nail, and you're gonna hammer it at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Right in to the groove of the can. Why? Because then when the paint gets in that groove, it's gonna drain back down. See? Simple, easy, DIY, saves you time. Put that back on, put the rag back over, use the rubber side of the mallet to hammer it tight, to seal it, and then you go. Now, another thing to use the mallet for is if you are doing any repair on furniture. You don't, if you want, say something gets wobbly and you're hammering a nail into the side of the table or something, use the rubber side. If you use the hammer side, you're going to dent the wood, and that's what you don't want to do. You also want to put a rag over it when you are hammering, like so it's not going to dent the furniture that you're repairing. Very important. So what I love about the mallet is that it's multi-purpose. You've got the hammer side, and then you also have the rubber side that you can use that's not going to damage stuff. And also, if you ever live in an older home and the windows don't stay up and they slide down, this props it up really well. So it's a multi-purpose tool for even when it's not supposed to be used. But this is really something that you should always have. It's really good. It's a really good thing to have. And you can get it at any hardware store. I've grown up with this. This has always been. This was in my grandpa's toolbox, my dad's. It's kind of a generational thing. So this is a really fun one to have. Okay?
Hannah made a comment. She says, I also like to do the rubber band trick over the top of the can to rub off extra paint from the brush. I don't know. I guess I don't know what the rubber band trick is.
Yeah.
Maybe Hannah can elaborate a little bit on that in the comments, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever it is, if that works, which you just said it was, Hannah, I want to hear about it. Yeah, definitely let's share more of that, because we could share more. We could share that with everybody else. Good feedback. That's what I love about DIY, right? Is that we're constantly learning, and it's all about trial and error. It really is. That's the best part, is that all these little secrets that we've, well, they weren't secrets. The only reason they're secrets is because nobody knew about it, okay, right? Other than you or your family. It's something you pass down from friend to family. But that's the beauty about DIY, is like, Hannah, thank you for sharing that. That's a great tip. That we're constantly learning back and forth. Love that. Thank you.
Okay. I think I understand what she's saying now. She says you put the rubber band around the can vertically, so the band goes across the open part of the can. And then I'm assuming,
this way?
Yeah. And then you're able to use the rubber band to get the excess paint, and it goes into the can rather than using the side.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
great. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
So add a rubber band to Hannah's toolkit.
Yeah. So, and Hannah, great segue into painting, by the way, because we're still on it. Good job. This is something that I love, and this is a great stocking stuffer, okay? What this is, and this totally saves your fingers, because I'm spray painting all the time. This literally is like, I think it's $2. So you got your spray paint. You get one of these. It just slides right over the can. I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more here, like this, okay? Like that. And then it's a trigger pull. It is fantastic, okay? And guess what? I use it on polish too. So it's not just for spray paint, because this goes around this polish cans too. So this is a fantastic gift that you can give. And oh my gosh, so you're spraying like you have a professional sprayer, but it's just this little plastic thing and it pops right off. Versus this, right? And then you're shaking this hand out, then you go over to this hand, and then your left hand or your right's not spraying as good as the other one. No, yuck, we don't want to do that. But yeah, it just flips right on, and you go like that. Okay?
Where has this thing been my whole life? I painted a bunch of picture frames over the summer, and I no joke, my finger was hurting for days.
Yeah, and plus, not only is your finger hurting, but I'm sure it's covered with spray paint. Like inside, in the crevices, and then you even switch it. You'll go to the next finger and the next finger, and you're going like this. Yeah, it does. This is awesome. What I also love about this tool is that it's handy for all ages, okay? So it's much easier for the kids. So if kids, my son, I let him spray paint all the time because he loves to do artwork. But this is also good for those people that are older. It's a lot easier to hold on to, and you can spray a lot easier, okay? So a really good thing to have. And you can get this also at any hardware store, definitely.
Another comment. Oh my gosh, yes, the spray paint handle.
Yeah. I know, right?
Mind blown.
I know. I think I'm probably going to get this for everybody for Christmas again. Because
add me to your list, Shannon.
yeah, add it to the list. Yeah. My sister has 3 grown children, and so many times they'll come home and tools are missing, including this. So there you go. Once again, all of this really affordable. I'm not going to say go out and buy something really, really expensive. Affordable and very compact. You can get it in a really tight little space. Okay. All right. So this is another go-to, and some of you, like Shannon, I've been and done this one a ton of times, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Okay, is the command strips. Okay. Now, how many times have you gone into? I mean, you can get the command strips anywhere. They even have them at the grocery store. But they have all different, they'll say for 3 pounds, for 5 pounds. This will say, you know, it'll say 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. My thought is, why would I get something that says for 3 pounds if it says I want some for 16 pounds? I don't know how heavy my frame is. I didn't weigh it on the scale before I went to go get it. So when you want to use the command strips, always just go with the one that goes with the, you know, the heaviest, okay? Because the last thing, come on, I know nobody has weighed anything that they're gonna hang on the wall, correct? Anything that's lightweight? No, you haven't. And if you have, wow, that's, whew. Anyway, yeah, that means you got a lot of time on your hands. So I also like to use the command strip that has the Velcro pieces that go together. There's different ones where it has just one side. You know, it's sticky on both sides, so it's sticky and sticky, and you put it on there. The reason I like to use the double Velcro, and you can hear it, like so, is then because when you put the piece, let's see if I have, we'll use this frame as an example. Oh, and I also want to go, they come in short strips and long strips. Just get the long strips. Get the heaviest you can with the longest strips. Why? Well, because then you can cut them to the size that you want instead of wasting money on the ones that are lightweight. Probably command. Anybody that works for 3M Command, unplug your ears. You don't want to hear that. Okay, but I just then cut it to the size I want. The reason I like to use the ones with the double-sided Velcro is because when you peel one side off and you put it on the frame or whatever you're using, like so, okay? And then you peel the other 2 pieces off and then you mount it on the wall, but then you go back and it's crooked. The reason I like the Velcro is because then you can Velcro it off versus the command strip that's just the one where it's sticky and sticky. Because once you pull it off the sticky, then it doesn't stay on. But with the Velcro, you can pull it off and then readjust it again to make it straight. Okay, so that's a really good tip that I just saved you money on getting the wrong type of sticky stuff that goes on the wall. Okay. So that the heavier and the longer the strips, it's going to save you some money. Okay. Simple, simple. I also like to use those on like harder, lighter cardboard, thick stock cardboard, amateur artwork. I love amateur artwork. I go to the thrift store all the time and pick it up. So, but these work really well too, so it's frameless, okay? So, there's the command strip. We're getting kind of cluttery around here. I like it though. Okay, next up, let's move this stuff out of the way. All right, this is one of my, I would say, top 3 that you have to have. And I have it in 3 different varieties. This is called Stickum, okay? Comes in a small can. It's a tin can. You have Stickum Museum Wax, like this, and also call it a fun tack, like a putty. Now, I use this, I think, in every room, every photo shoot that I've been on, I've used this, okay? Now, Why? What have I used it for? Well, if you tuned into the, you got to tune into the indoor DIY that I did. I like to reuse things all the time. And this is one that we did. So this was the Stickum that I used. And it's like a hard putty, but it's clear. It's like a hard wax, actually. And then what I did is I took this and I put the two pieces together. Look at this. Oh, like that. And I put them underneath. And I showed this on the indoor DIY. But I like to do that like so. And it sticks. Right? And it doesn't damage anything either. So that is a really good thing to do with that. Also, you could put it right on your table because it's not going to damage it. So if you had, say, a piece of a vase that you don't want to get tipped over, you can put it on the bottom and literally put it right on your tabletop, and it's not gonna damage the tabletop.
So Shannon, is this stuff, you can put it on treated surfaces and it's not going to damage it?
It is not going to damage it. No, I know. That's the brilliance of this. And anything, by the way, that's a really good question. Once again, when I'm on photo shoots, I don't want to damage anything, okay? Because I'm in somebody else's home. I just dropped some. So, correct. I don't want to leave any residue of that we've been here, so it doesn't damage. The museum wax, I do know that's much more pliable. It's much more softer. And versus the stick tack. So this is more, I would say, a little more liquidy. So it's just a good alternative to use. And then the putty is also something that you can use, okay? Now, so that's a good right there. But I will use this, once again, for lightweight artwork. So the museum wax, you can literally put that on the back, right on like this. Because say, especially paper, if you want, especially your children's artwork, if the fridge is completely full with magnetic stuff and you want to put it on the wall, the museum wax or the putty, this putty, like this, or the Stickum, you can put it right on the wall and it'll stick right on the wall, like that. See? And it doesn't damage anything. And it's really nice because then you can just take it off. I would probably use that versus over the command strips, because any lightweight, especially children's artwork, you don't need the command strips because it's so light. Once again, the same thing, I do the exact same thing. I'll do that with the Stickum or the putty on even light cardboard artwork, okay? But one of the best things that I use Stickum for, or the museum wax, or the putty, is, you're gonna love this, is you hang a picture. Oh look, here's just another picture of my son. Just happened to have that here. Isn't that cute when he was little? Remember when they were little? And you hang it on the wall, and it's always crooked. And you move it, and it's always crooked. And you have that one piece of artwork or the one frame that doesn't matter how many times you straighten it down the hall, it's crooked, okay? Well, guess what? You take any of one of these three, okay? The Stickum or the museum wax, and you just put a little piece on the bottom. Not on the top, do it on the bottom because that's where it's waiting, okay? The top isn't, the top part of a frame is not making it dip. It's the bottom, it's the weight that's pulling it. So if you put a little bit of this on each corner, right, or like that, it doesn't matter. And then you stick it against the wall, it's not gonna damage the wall, and it's straight. Then you don't have to worry about that. And this will work on even the big stuff, like a big mirror. I have a very large mirror above the vanity in my bathroom, and I've just taken a big piece of Stickum and I just lift it underneath it and put it against the wall, and boom, it's good. So it doesn't move anymore. Yes.
So it seems like these three little products or tools do very similar jobs. Do you have a preference of one over the other, or do you see them being used in different applications, like the museum in one application, the Stickum in another?
Yes, I will use the museum wax. I like to use the museum wax more so on frames and stuff that are spinning. and also on the putty. I like to use the Stickum in something that I want to adhese a little bit more firm. Okay, so these two are a little more flexible, and this one is the Stickum is a little more solid. I also, and that's a really good question, because here's another one. So you have like a little rug, okay? That's maybe on the kitchen, in front of the kitchen sink, just a little rug. Okay, that's where the putty comes in handy, okay? So I would use the putty, stick the putty on the corners of the rug, like so. And that sticks it, that keeps it from, that's why I like the putty, because it can stretch, versus the museum wax and also the Stickum. So like a long surface like this, and I'll put, can you see me get this out of the way? See what I'm doing? It's like bubble gum.
Yeah. Carrie Ray says, so brilliant. Here's to a straight art future.
Thanks, Carrie Ray. That's awesome. But see, then you just put this on your rug, and then you can put that. Say my table is the ground, and then that will go and prevent it from slipping all over the place. And the really good thing about using the putty, this is where the putty would come in handy. It doesn't damage the floor. Okay. Well, if you use the museum wax, so Jason was saying which is for better or not. The museum wax, that's going to kind of slip and slide a little bit more because you're walking on this, and it's going to smear on your floor, okay? But this won't. The putty's just going to roll with it. But then, see, look, it's even stained just like that, and half of it's fallen. Actually, 75% of it's over that. But then the beauty about it is that, look, no damage. So it's no damage to your floor. Great, right? Yeah, because I don't know how many of you have you've tried to get the rug tape, and it is tape, and so it tapes to the rug and then also tapes to the floor, and it's not going anywhere. But then when you peel it off, you have that tape residue on your wood floors, and that is a pain in the wazoo, and it damages your floors, and you're down there forever getting all that gritty, sticky tape stuff off. Yeah, right? I know you're shaking your head. Yes, yes. So once again, very compact. You can get, and this museum wax, it comes in a little small like this too, in the Stickum too. Once again, it's just a few bucks, you guys. Okay, all right. Okay, this is a no-brainer. You have to have it. You got to have duct tape. You got to have it. Okay, packing tape. I've used this once again. I've used this. Oh, it's saved me so many times when I'm on photo shoots. Curtains. I have taken the bottom of frayed rugs and put this, tape this over a frayed rug. When I'm on a shoot with models, I have taped up hemmed. This is used as hem instead of literally a needle and a thread. I've hemmed pants on dresses and skirts with duct tape. So you got to have the duct tape. It's just the go-to. And yeah, there's a joke about it, you know, that it saves the world, but it definitely comes in handy in all different applications. I just had to throw in the duct tape. We could have done a whole hour on what we could do with it, but you got to have that. Okay, so duct tape, no problem. Moving on. Okay. Oh yeah.
And I love that duct tape now comes in a million different colors and patterns.
It does. It does. But Jason, I don't know about you, but I've noticed that some of the colorful duct tape with the patterns, it's not as durable.
Oh.
I've noticed that. It's a little more fluffy. It shows a little more fluffy. So it's good to use like if you're doing packages and stuff. But if you want that really durable, I've noticed that the gray, the black, the tan, the gold, those are the go-to. Yeah, I know.
Not the pink camo.
No. Yeah. Not the pink camo. No. But, you know, hey, if it looks pretty, why not? Why not? So, right here, you're probably going, I got these. Yeah, paint sticks, stir sticks. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have over the years. The paint sticks are getting smaller and thinner in wood. I'm wondering if there'll be a day where they don't supply paint sticks anymore, right? For free. They'll probably have to make us pay for them. So that's why I hang on to my paint sticks, because I just think they're gonna go out, they're gonna disappear. But I use these all the time. For what? I know, stir paint, of course. But what else can we use them for? Well, once again, when I'm on a shoot, I take stir sticks, and guess what I do? I break them, and I use them as shims, okay? So a really simple one is I just break it like this. So if a table is wobbly, or a chair leg is wobbly, and I can instantly use them as shims underneath the table. It really works good too on big pieces like armoires, or big cabinets, and instead of having to, because you're like, oh, I don't have a piece of wood to get it, but just go out and just get a paint stick and you can shim it under. So it's really good for shims. Now, this is a total DIY. So notice the fun colors on them and the layers. It starts getting tons of layers. So I actually love that because it shows the history of what I've been painting and the walls. And you could tell, like, oh, I remember where this color went in the house, or what piece of furniture it went on to, and so forth. So I have made these, I cut them up and make them into keychains. So simple. I just drill a hole, get some chain, and they're keychains. Very simple. I know, you're probably going, oh my gosh, really, Quimby? Yes! They're great gifts too, by the way. I'll put on, and instead of buying keychains, right, I'm using what I already have. I'm DIYing what I already have. And then what I could do is then you take, of course, your Sharpie. Here's the mama bear. And then I would write, so this, I could write truck on this one. So I know which keychain goes to which. I could say spare key, I could say back door. And then I'm not worried about spending money on keychains, because some of them can be quite expensive, it adds up. But then if you lose it, right, you're like, dang, I just went and bought that really cool keychain and I lost it. Doesn't matter, right? You're not gonna sweat over a broken paint stick, okay? So.
Also cute earrings.
Oh, yeah.
I like
right?
that.
Okay, or how about, I just thought of this one. How about if you've got a zipper, right? You have a jacket, and with the, like, kids, they can't get, they can't get the zipper up like this. That's a really good one. You could thread that through the bottom of the zipper, or those that have arthritis or have issues and can't get to the zipper, you just go like that and they can hold on to that and then pull the zipper up and down. So I tell you, it's a free gift that just keeps on giving. Yes. I also have used these as garden markers. So into the vegetable gardens, so I just stick them on, right, just plug them right in, and I'll just write what it is right here on the stir stick of what I'm planting. And if you want to get really into it, you can paint it red and then write tomato, and you can paint them different greens and so forth to coordinate with what you're planting. But it's a really good and simple and free product that you can have, that I'm sure all of us have lying around. And we always have more than one, don't we? We do, okay? So stir sticks, simple and easy and tiny. And how much did that cost? Nada, zero. Okay. All right, we got another one. Oh, God, we got two more. How are we doing on time, Jason? We doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Okay.
Again, if anyone watching has a comment or a question for Shannon, feel free to type it below and we'll answer as we're going along. So yeah, we have time to
Got
show
a couple more?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this, if you've noticed, you know, this is my life, by the way. This looks very messy, but it's very organized in my eyes. Okay. So, but take a look. So I have covered the table with paper, craft paper. Now, you can get this in a small tube, in a small thing, but I always go, I go for the mumbo jumbo. This is how much I use. I use this stuff all the time, okay? Now, I'm gonna move it back over. Okay, so cover the table. We've got, this is great right now. Here's a plate. Great idea for the kids. Here's some crayons. So, you know where I'm going with this, right? You know when you go into a restaurant, this is what the restaurants do. And they come in, what I like to do is I will take, and you don't have to use crayons, you can use the Sharpie pens too, but, whoops, I will make a placemat and then put the plate on top of the placemat and then color the placemat in. This is really good for the kids. It's like, hey, we're having so-and-so over tonight, and you put this paper down over the table and have them draw placemats. They're gonna be busy for a long time. You can say, oh, you wanna write their name, and you can draw things, and you can outline, where your silverware is gonna go, and they can doodle it and have fun with it. But it really is a simple thing, the paper, to do, okay? And like I said, we've done this at restaurants all the time, but it's something that you could do at home. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Now, I also do it to wrap presents, okay? Simple and easy. I also, on one of the projects I showed on the DIY indoor is to cover books. I said hello, but this goes way back. But you got to go and check out the other DIY that I did with the book cover. It was actually a big hit on the indoor DIY stuff.
Yeah.
Really big hit. We're not going to share it, so you go watch it. You definitely go back and watch it.
Yeah, Carrie Ray says, keep going. In reference to what Shannon's talking about, that indoor DIY.
Yes.
You can view those on inroadscu.org/DIY. The videos and instructions are all loaded up there, as well as this video with instructions will be on that landing page as well.
Yeah. So one more is with the paper, and I use this all the time. I will take a border out if I don't have a border, and I'll use this as a pattern and the mat, and I will cut it out and mat it. And same thing with the picture frame, okay? So it's just something, instead of just thinking it as paper, think of it as how you can use it throughout the house. But it's very affordable, it's very easy to use, and it doesn't matter if it gets stained or ripped or torn, you can use it again, okay? So, and you can get it also, it's become quite popular. You can get it at a hardware store, you can get it at the craft store. I've even seen it at like the big decorating stores. They have it in the rolls. But and also I got this at Miller Paint. So I got the big boy at the paint store. So those, if you've got kids or if you're very artistic, this is something you can continually roll out and let them play with and let them color. It's something, especially with the holidays coming up, they can actually create wrapping paper so they can color these big sheets, and you can make sheets of it and it becomes the wrapping paper for the presents. I mean, oh my gosh, grandparents will eat that up. They will literally, you know how you save the wrapping paper? Believe you me, if your kids and start coloring on all that, and then the grandparents and parents will save that too. But that's a really fun thing to do. So definitely have fun with this, okay? Now, the last one.
Oh, so Carrie did ask, where did you get the big roll?
Oh yeah, the big roll, yeah, I'll bring it in. And this actually is I've used about a third of it already. It is big. I got this at Miller Paint. Now, so at the big paint stores, and Miller Paint's a small paint store, it's a small business, but it comes in the big, huge rolls like this. And I think this was about 25 bucks. Okay, so it's not unreasonable at all in the price on that, but it lasts forever. Like I said, I use it all the time. Okay, all right, I'll slide this over. Okay, now this one, you're just going to be like, what? Okay, pretend this is your floor, hardwood floors. And how many of you have a dog? Yeah, I do. Dogs have nails, okay? And cats, and basically, or any other type of animal. Our hardwood floors get scratched up a lot. Now, we're mostly in the Pacific Northwest. Most of our hardwood floors aren't hard. They're Doug fir, and Doug fir is soft. And so that's why you see a lot of scratches in your floors. A really simple, easy trick to get rid of those scratches, and this also works on, say, like wood coffee tables, when you get scratches, is almonds. Almonds. Okay? Raw almonds. Not the seasoned almonds with salt. No, raw almonds. So if there's a scratch, which it'll be hard to see on this, but I just wanted to give you a visual. So you have a scratch in the wood, you can literally take an almond, snack at the same time. Take the almond. You can take the raw almond too. I like to use the almonds that have the skin on it because they're easier to hold. If you notice the raw almonds, they have a little bit of oil and they slip out of your fingers. Yeah. So been there, done that. I've tried it with the ones that have without the skin, but it's real slippery. So you want this exposed part right here. And this totally works. Trust me, it does. You want to take that and you just start rubbing over the scratch. Okay? And I'm not kidding you, it's going to disappear. It's the oils in the almond that go with the wood. And it goes right in and it disappears. And then, where's my rag? I'm not joking, folks. I've done this a million times. A million times. I actually showed it on live on my floors for a national television show where I literally took a scratch and I scratched the hardwood floor and they're like, oh my God. Yeah, the almond, go like this. And you're gonna have, it takes a little elbow grease, takes a little almond grease. And you go over the scratch like this and it's gonna disappear, okay?
Carrie Ray says, you are blowing my mind. My mind is also blown. I have a beautiful fir table, dining room table, and it has many scratches from the kiddos.
Yeah.
And I now am going to be snacking and repairing my table.
Yeah, that's right, right? And I tell you, once again, the kids are gonna love it. If you can say, hey, I want you to take these almonds, I just want you to scratch the table. Just get in the table, they're like, all right, yay. But it's true, it works really well. It works really, really well. And once again, did it cost a lot of money? Nope. Do most of us have nuts around the house? Yes. Almonds work. Trust me, I've tried walnuts. I've tried other types of I've tried other ones, pistachios. Now, it must be something in the oil in the almond that penetrates with the wood so well. But that's definitely something that goes, makes the scratch disappear. I also have done it on exposed wood legs on chairs, a little scratch, but it works really well on the coffee tables and the hardwood floors. So let's like regroup. So think about this. So here's the kit. We have an almond. Boy, that took up a lot of space. That's huge right there, okay? So we have the almond. We have the museum wax, the Stickum, and or the putty, okay? We've got our mama bear, papa bear, baby bear, Sharpies. Black's always good. They come in brown too. So there's that. We've got the Old English. I'll even throw all three in, okay? We have got toothbrushes. We've got the 1-inch toothbrush, paintbrush, like so. We have got the command strips, like that. T-pins. Why are they T-pins? Because they're shaped like a T, Okay, here's your T-pin. Duct tape. What else? Did I miss anything? Oh, yeah.
Can't forget that.
Definitely this. Piece de resistance. Right there. The spray can holder. That's it. Oh, nope. And the paper. Okay? Right there. Guess how many? That's 13 I just showed you tonight. 13 different pieces of product or tips or how to do it all together right there. Right there condensed. And look how barely any money that was used at all. So once again, this is something that you can DIY, and you all did it yourself. I just showed you in like less than an hour, 13 different things that we could use, that we can repair, that we can fluff up, that we can spruce up, that we can clean up. All that costs just a few bucks. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure did. I definitely. And Hannah, thank you so much for teaching me about the rubber band trick on that. I'm so gonna do that. I'll probably be talking about it in another presentation, and Hannah, I'll give you a shout out every single time. So anyway, you guys, definitely go back, check out all the other classes. They're fantastic. Learn so much, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Shannon. We've had great engagement tonight. We actually have another question that just came through. It says, what type of paintbrush would you recommend, natural bristle or foam? Or that's from Julie Strong. So.
Good. That's an excellent question. Let's pull up. I definitely use the bristle. The bristle. Why? Because the foam brush is going to break down really fast, and it peels off, right? And once that foam breaks off, then you just kind of throw it away. Also, Julie, I've noticed with the foam brushes, when I get into that, and I pull away too quick, it just rips it off. And then I got another problem. Now I got foam stuck in the crevices. Okay, so definitely use a bristle. And like I said, the 1 inch is really nice because I seem to use it in all different applications, into tiny and big spaces at the same time. Okay.
Awesome.
Good. Okay.
Well, Shannon, we just have a few minutes left, so if any of our viewers have any questions or comments, or maybe you have a little DIY hack or tool that you use, maybe drop it in the comments now.
Yeah.
For maybe people that are joining us now and maybe they haven't seen your other segments, can you tell us a little bit how you got into DIY?
Yeah.
And how you became a DIY expert?
How did I become a DIY expert? Well, you know what? It started just from day one. My mother and my father are very artistic, but it even goes further back. It goes back from my grandmother. My grandmother was raised very poor, and she lived in she was a teacher in a one-room schoolhouse teacher in South Dakota. And so everything was used and nothing was thrown away. And we were thrifty. The DIY didn't exist, okay? So we reused, we rethought, we repurposed, all these rewords. It was just my lifestyle. And so I grew up not being wasteful, okay? So that was like our cues. Oh yeah, that's so wasteful. Don't throw that away. And from that mindset of not throwing something away and reusing it over and over and over again, like paint sticks, okay, that I was able to save money, which ultimately helped me put myself through college. It helped me land a career sharing on how to DIY. And so it's believing in yourself, of trying to do something, and don't worry if you mess up, okay? Because nobody's gonna come and say you did it wrong because you did it yourself. So that's really important, you know, have confidence to try it out. A lot of times it's not gonna work, but most of the time it will. And so that's the beauty about DIY, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I'm so honored that InRoads has had me on 3 times. This is my 3rd time on this series of just how we can DIY. Because I don't know about you, I don't like wasting money. I really don't. And you know what? My mom would say, you're so cheap. And I'm like, no, I'm not cheap. I am thrifty and I'm resourceful. And my mom's like, yeah, but cheap in our household's a good word. And so she's right. So I hope you will DIY. In the short term, it saves you money, but at the long term, it also saves a lot of waste. And so we're reusing, and so it doesn't go into the garbage. And that teaches our kids, right? That teaches our kids our next generation. My son went down to college, and he sent me a picture of his bed frame because he just had a mattress, and he made his bed frame out of wood pallets, right? Went out, found wood pallets. He spray painted them because, of course, he got one of these for me in his care package to college. Spray painted wood pallets, got twinkly lights, put it under his bed, under the pallets, like, wah, wah, wah. Yeah, okay, whatever. Don't want to hear about that. But anywho, Jason is, he's so embarrassed right now, yes. But DIYing generations to the next thing. Instead of going and spending money on a bed frame, he went out and made it. And I'm actually pretty proud of that. So
that is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Gina Little says, thank you so very much, Shannon. Carrie Ray says, thank you, Shannon. You're a natural on camera and so creative.
Oh.
Thank you for sharing and inspiring me. And I think on that note, I just want to thank you, Shannon, from the bottom of my heart and from the InRoads team for doing these segments with us. That's all the time that we have for tonight. But like I mentioned, if you tuned in late or you didn't get to catch the other segments or you just want to rewatch them, everything is loaded up on inroadscu.org/DIY. You can see our every segment in this series, including Shannon's 2 segments prior, with full videos and instructions. Tonight's video will be loaded up there tomorrow, so you'll be able to catch this in its entirety tomorrow and maybe forever, who knows. But again, Shannon Quimby, DIY expert and stylist, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you had as much fun as we all did.
Yeah, and from all of us at InRoads, please stay safe and healthy out there.